What's going on, everyone? This is your host, Sean Johnson, creator of Benchminer Hockey, and welcome to episode number 19, part 2 of the Benchminer Hockey Podcast. This is the hockey podcast that covers single A hockey news and stories from players and staff and owners, and we have Mr. Barry Soskin back. Thank you so much, sir.
Thanks for having me back again.
Of course. And this time we're going to talk Danville hockey, something you're passionate about.
I am passionate about it. That started me in the Fed. It also put a championship ring on my son's finger. So I don't mind talking about Danville at all. Although I don't like talking
Absolutely.
about the last month when I was there, but I'll talk about other stuff.
We'll talk a little bit about everything. Let's see what we got here. So I know the Dashers were one of your teams from 2011 to 2019, 2020-ish. I'm not sure the exact date. What kind of made the Danville area appealing in the first place?
I've had teams up until Danville. I had teams around the states, none of them close to Chicago. And I'm from Chicago, or the northern suburbs of Chicago. My business is a western suburb of Chicago. So I wanted something a little bit closer. Um, Kids were getting older. I wanted to be able to spend more time around here. And the Danville team is exactly 2 hours from my office. And so I was able to catch a bunch of games. That's what turned me onto the market in the first place. Uh, I liked it. I mean, we had a great time there, but
And when you put your team there, I was looking at the attendance numbers, and every year it would climb and it would climb and it would climb. What do you think made that market successful? What did you change each season, or what did you add to the elements
well,
that made it?
Sean, like I've said to any of these markets, hard work. If you believe in that Kevin Costner build it and it'll come, maybe you get a year out of it. Maybe you get half a year out of it. This takes hard work. You're I didn't help matters by the first couple of years. We were not a good team. So it took a lot of convincing on our part to have the fans show up and support a losing team as we continued to slowly get better and better. And every year, just like in Port Huron now, every year the ticket revenue went up. Every year the sponsorship went up. And I feel the same thing is going on. I know the same thing is going on in Port Huron every single year. So the first couple of years in Danville were tough. They were tough on my checkbook, and they were tough on my eyes because I didn't necessarily like the product, um, but I believed in what we were doing, and it took a little bit of. I think that third year is really where things started to come, and we've gone through. We had listen when I went through one of the coaching changes I made, I hired Matt McIlvain, and he was only there for half a season, but he really showed me what could happen with a good coach. And he turned that program, I feel he turned that program and got it headed in the right direction. And after a half a year with me in the Fed, half a year, he wound up the next year being an assistant coach in the East Coast Hockey League. And the next year after that, he went to Germany and he's been there ever since. And he took his team in Germany and won a silver medal in the Olympics. So things
Oh, wow.
happen with people that have started in the Fed and have gone. Bruce Boudreau, we're bringing him in. He coached in Biloxi back in the coast. He went on in the
Mm-hmm.
NHL, did very well. Um, I believe I'm not sure the exact date, but I believe March 10th he's coming into Biloxi to drop the puck and say hi to some old friends.
Yeah, I did see that news. That was very cool. Now, I know you probably don't want to talk about this, but ultimately, what led to the fall of the Dashers?
this is all personal opinion because I don't have, any other information. The um, I want to say this where I'm not making too many mistakes. And if I'm making a mistake, it's certainly not from trying to mislead anybody. It's that I may have heard something incorrectly. What we had was I had finished out a lease, and the building had an opportunity to take a certain time and look for another tenant. They took that time and found another tenant. I believe that it was a stacked deck. When I went into the boardroom, they would not let people in with me who were my backers, who were fans that wanted to also speak. Uh, Very simply, the board had made up his mind. I believe that there was some stuff going on between the former chairman of the board because he resigned under pressure. And I believe about half of the board or more are gone. I think there's only two people left from the original board that voted against me and for um, the person who went in there. The to
Mhm.
talk about the person that went in there, and again, I don't want to talk about the last 15 months because that would be really easy. I, I want to try to show you how it. I was upset. I'm still upset. Um, People around me were upset at the way I was treated or the way our business was treated. Nobody would have a business for 10 years and get treated the way that they did. But at the time, you had somebody saying that she was going to spend a lot of money in your building. You had a person that, although was separated from family, the people don't know that. You know, if you have a fight with your brother, I don't even know if you have a brother, but if you have a fight with your brother, it ain't for the whole world to know. You and your closest friends know. That's it. So the fact that she, the family is well to do. She's not so well to do. Um,
Mhm.
so if you say, "Wow, really? The old man died. Something happened with that 200 million. She's got to get something of it." Well, it wasn't what everybody had anticipated. And they, including the mayor, remember, the board member votes. The board votes, but the board isn't voted on. The board is assigned by the mayor. So the mayor put his people on. They voted accordingly, and I was gone. Listen, when I was there, I could tell that I was gone. It was orchestrated from the beginning and plotted from the beginning, and um, you know, unfortunately, unfortunately, hockey and hockey fans lost. I don't care what the building
Mhm.
lost in money. That's their problem. They made a bad decision. I don't care how much that former owner lost. That's her business decision, a bad one, but that's her decision. I'm glad. I'm glad that I didn't sell her the team when she asked to buy my team because I would have wound up having to be a partner with her, whether she bought my whole team or not. I still own teams in the league, and I would have had to put up with her every day or every meeting
Mhm.
or whatever. So I'm terribly happy that I did not sell her the team, but I'm sorry for the hockey fan. Look what she did. I had people texting me. There were games where they had 50 and 100 people. That's what I started with. I know what that's
Mhm.
like. I know what it's like to lose that kind of money with that. And the decisions that she made, unfortunately, if she would have listened to most anybody, she would have found out that that's what was going to happen. Smallest market by far, smallest building
Mhm.
by far. The longest bus trips by far. Tell me what advantage it has. Tell me another team. You check this. This is something you can check on. Tell me another team that lost more players to the Fed than them. None. Zero
You got
teams.
me there.
Zero teams. So I feel sorry about what happened there. They got what they deserved. Do they want me back? With the right lease, I'll come back. Do I need to go back? No. No. Do I want to go back? Sure, I'll go back with the right deal. Without the right deal, I won't go back. Period. That's just the way it
Mhm.
is. I'm involved with five. Do I need to have six? Come on.
Right. I know we were just talking about fans. Now, were you kind of surprised to see an SP team kind of struggle that badly bringing in
No.
fans?
This is
No.
about entertainment. This is about entertainment and what you do for those fans. Okay? You got to put on a good product and you've got to have customer service. Got to hire the right people that are going to be nice.
Well, that seemed like a majority of the problem there, and I'm not really going to get into Vermilion County too much, but they didn't have the same staff week in and week out. Staff,
Sean, did
I
they
think their
have
staff
more?
roster changed more than their player
Sean,
roster.
they went through more coaches than season ticket holders. That's embarrassing.
You had a valid point.
It's embarrassing. So I hope, I really hope that they get a team and they get a pro team and they get a Fed team. I think that the Fed, I showed that it could be successful there. I hope that I hope that they want a Fed team and they get a Fed team. And if they don't want me, I hope they get somebody else to put a Fed team in there.
Right, absolutely. All right, and I keep saying I don't want to keep harping on the Bobcats, but I am kind of interested to get your opinion on this real quick. So last week the Bobcats announced that they couldn't make the trip to Quad City, so the SP kind of changed the schedule around to help them out, and then they had Quad City go to Vermilion County on Sunday, where the Bobcats no showed at their own home game. Have you ever seen anything like that in all your years of pro hockey?
No, I have not. But I have not had where a home team didn't show up. The problem is, um, and Sean, is this getting through? Are you getting any of this? Because when okay, um, there's a legal way of getting things done, and in my opinion, that was done exactly the way the lawyer told them to do it, so that they had a game. They were there. They came prepared to play, and the home team didn't provide a team. They waited 15 minutes or whatever. They gave them a 5-minute penalty, and then they forfeited the game. All that stuff is well orchestrated for the league to then have grounds to take her team away. And I'm not a lawyer. I just know the way some of the other leagues that I've been involved with operate. And I'm not involved with the Southern
Mhm.
Pro at all. And you know, some of our guys from our league know those people and talk to them. I mean, there's a couple of guys that I can talk to, but I don't have any ownership or management in the Southern Pro at all.
Right. Now, after this Vermilion County fiasco, do you believe that the Danville market is salvageable?
Yes.
And why do you believe that?
um, First of all, I told you that it's going to have to take the right lease for me to go back there. They went from, honestly, I had a legit numbers of 800 to 1,000 all the time. You look the last 3-4 years that I played, those were our numbers that I average. That's
Mhm.
paid, and I don't lie. I never lie on those things, because if I lie and I say that we got 10,000 people in here and I pull the team, I'm the jerk. If I write down that there's 300 people, because that's what there are, and I pull the team, those fans can look at themselves. The town can look at themselves. They didn't support it. If they don't support it,
Mhm.
it won't be there. I'm a fan of the Chicago. Sorry about that. I'm a fan of the Chicago Blackhawks. So I support my team. My business is the Danville Dashers. I go to the games. I like them. I watch them. I'll watch them on YouTube or I'll watch them live, and I cheer for them. I want them to win. Uh, but it is more of a business than it is anything else. And I believe
Mhm.
with the right lease, I can go in there and get the fans back. And I believe that because I've been in touch with quite a few of them. The 25 people that I talk to is not going to, fill the stadium, but the stuff that they preach to me and a little bit of stuff that wasn't customer service or fan friendly is why those guys are gone. They'll be back.
Mhm.
Just got to give them a reason to.
Right, absolutely. And since you actually just brought up attendance, we have this debate all the time on Bench Minor where teams will post their attendance, and of course, I just reshare. I don't have the numbers. Whatever the team posts is what I post, just to get the word out there. So the attendance numbers are not actual butts in seats; they are tickets sold. And I mean, I've preached this. I've said it over and over. Fans will say, "Oh, I was there. There was not that many." These are tickets sold. So regardless if you show up or not, you paid for the ticket. It's a whole ticket. Do you think that the league should adopt a process where you report two different attendance numbers, one ticket sold, one for actual butts in seats, or do you
Major
leave it
League
the way it
Baseball
is?
doesn't do that. The Chicago Cubs
Right.
announce tickets, butts, and seats, drop count. The National League does that. The American League, the Chicago White Sox, announce tickets issued. Big difference. Huge difference. I issued 10,000 tickets once in Nashville to kids on Halloween. We got about 250 people that showed up. I gave 10,000 tickets away. There's a difference about those numbers. I saw the same thing last year. Was it last year or the year before in Elmira? I went to a couple
Mhm.
of games. There was literally a few hundred. When I can sit there and count every fan, if I'm off a little bit, who cares? I'm counting the fans, and yet the next day in the looking at how many was there were like 2,500 or something that was announced. 2,200 that particular game. But there were a lot of tickets that
Mhm.
were issued with advertisers that count as tickets issued, so that's the way they do it. Um, I don't know if it makes a difference or they should.
Now, I know you said that the arena in Danville, the arena board, I should say, you said there's only two remaining original members.
I'm not going to say original members. Two members. And again, this is what I was told. Two members that are still on the board that were on the board when they made the vote 15 months ago to made the vote probably a little more than 15 months ago. They've only had a team from whatever October to a month ago or a week ago. That's the 15 months that I was talking about.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't. I don't know.
And you're saying if they're willing to work with you and if they give you a favorable lease, you would consider putting the Dashers back,
Absolutely, I've already said that. I've said that to the.
right?
I sent an email to the chairman of the board, and the building manager also resigned under pressure too. So there's an acting building manager, and I emailed her as well, telling her that there'd be interest. They still have a lot to do. The the town's attorney is out of the country and not even coming back for another week. So, I'm sure
Oh
that
wow.
there's going to be a lot that has to be done, before they probably can even sit and talk with me or talk to whoever.
Right. No, absolutely. I know that we've already talked about that, phone call. We've already, discussed that off the podcast. I already wrote an article about it, but people sometimes don't believe my sources, so I kind of have to ask it, have it come from the horse's mouth, I guess, so people believe me. But that's why I asked you again just to verify.
That's okay. I've been called a horse
And
before.
oh goodness. And lastly, have you seen the Dashers logo all over social media lately?
Um, I have Bring Back the Dashers, Jessica, um, one of the many fans that we have in Danville who is is as diehard a fan as you'll want out there, and her whole family is. Um, I love the bantering that I do with her back and forth. But she asked
Hmm.
me if I would have a problem uh, if we made up that T-shirt, or she made up that T-shirt, and I said no. I did not have a problem. I asked her where she was, a year and a half ago, but they made up a bring back the Dashers T-shirt and selling quite a bit of them. So there's been a lot of different talk out there, and you know I sent the emails to who I felt I needed to. I've talked to my
Hmm.
former general manager. Diane is still there. Um, she's friends with with a couple of people that are currently on the board. So if they know that I'm interested. If they have other plans, that's okay. Um, I just wanted to let them know that I enjoyed being there, and I would come back there and with the right deal for sure.
Right on. So you heard it here first. That came directly from Barry, so everyone could stop accusing me of not having a credible source. Um, Lastly, we just have
Derek,
a
wait,
couple
people
fan
are
questions
arguing
for
that
you.
you don't
Then
have a credible source. Your kid's wearing a Baton Rouge little onesie thing.
I know. I get questioned all the time, and it's fine. I get it. I don't expect everyone to believe everything that I say, but from my word as a man, I get my information from credible people. I don't just go posting banter. Like, I'm not interested in that. Not interested. I'm trying to help grow the league and make it better. Single A hockey, I should say. And when we have things that happen like Vermilion County, that doesn't really help single A, but unfortunately, I got to cover the bad and the good.
I get it.
But with that being said, a couple fan questions here for you. First one, what was the deciding factor that made the board want to drop the Dashers? I know you kind of covered this a little bit.
Well, um,
Was it money signs in the eyes?
mm, wow. You know, I think it was a number of things. I don't want to say any one. I think that the family name, whether she was part of that, I mean, I think that that was something. The fact that that family owned the hockey team back in the '70s, so it's not just a big name. They came from hockey. Um,
Hmm.
you know, she said she was going to give them $250,000 to make a new locker room. When they at that meeting, when they asked me if I would do that, I said yes with some contingencies, but they never allowed me to talk about what those contingencies would be. I wasn't going to give them $250,000 for a 1 year lease. That's asinine. So my contingencies was
Right.
just multi-year deal rather than what I had at that time. So I think that those are the things that went into to their minds. And remember, again, I don't want to lose sight of this. The mayor appoints those people. So I think that the mayor had, something to do with it. And you had a building that needed work, and you had somebody that was going to spend a lot of money on it. So again, I don't want
Right.
to, I don't want to get on anybody too much or too hard. But I think if, now that it's been over a year, I can sit back and think about what happened. And that's where I feel it all is.
Well, definitely understand. A couple fans want to know: do you have an update on the progress of
With
Withville?
Phil,
I don't know what it is.
um, I don't know what kind of progress they're looking for. There'll be a name the team contest. I hired somebody to start with helping me out with social media and stuff, and I started to add to the staff that we have there. So this will be now the third employee that's there. And so you're going to start to see, our presence on a social media platform. We'll have a name the team contest. I still don't. I'm trying to think. I think somewhere in the middle of April, the the county will decide, that board will decide which um, uh, uh, construction crew, which uh, bid they're going to take. Bids have been open. Bids have been open. I think bids close in a couple of weeks, and then they'll take and look through all the bids. You know what I mean, and have their meeting and make their decisions, and then go from there. Um, all of the bids had to come in with a 6 month completion date, and all of them have been. They'll be contractually obligated to finish within the time frame. Does that make me
Okay.
feel good? No,
Did
but
you
a little bit.
right? We had a little, I don't know what you call it, a little bench miner name your team contest. So I just put on there like, what would you call the Withville team? And I think Wranglers was like the top choice. Seen a lot of
You
Wranglers.
know
They're like,
you're
it's
but
just a
you're
fitting name for the
you know what you're
building. And
doing. You're doing the same thing that I do. You're trying to make the names rhyme. Oh, it starts with W. Let's go with something with W after it.
I mean, I put
But
my choice was Blue Ridge Riders. That was my choice, but Wranglers was something that
you
the
you
fans kept
Sean, you couldn't think
posting.
of something longer, so it would cost even more money to put on a jersey.
Oh, come on.
um,
Yeah,
what I wanted to do, and I've asked a little bit again. I bought one team that was already named the Blackhawks. The Waterloo Blackhawks, I didn't have to name them. They were the perfect name. These other teams I want to have something to do with the town or the market. Um, the the Seawolves was their old name, and it had so much, so many people that wanted that name. It really was cut and dried. In Withville,
mhm.
the town, and again, I don't want to get this wrong here, but the town or the area is known for um, like soldiers or Minutemen or Patriots or something like that. So I've had a couple of people, just talking to them at the restaurant or something, said, the Minutemen would be good. I don't care. I want something that whatever the name is going to be, I'll have probably our graphics designer try to make something that's attractive and will sell, because that's again the whole thing. You want to make it so that people want to buy souvenirs. Talk about that. Allie and down in who runs the show. Don't let Joe hear this, but Allie runs the team in Mississippi. She's kicking.
I'm sure he knows that already.
Trust me, I'm sure he does. Married to her with 3 kids. Trust me, she's making the decisions. But
Hmm.
there's she's just tearing it up with souvenirs because the different things that she's able to do, that souvenirs become a huge revenue source for us, which when you have bills that are 3 times what Port Huron is, you need to do that. My ticket prices aren't 3 times what Port Huron is, so you need to have the that different revenue streams to be able to help you out.
Right. Well, going back to this Withville name, since Blue Ridge
Ah,
Riders is too
you're
long
still
for you,
getting there.
I'm gonna go with Dingoes. Let's go with Dingo so you can compete with Roanoke. Dingoes.
Sean, I hate to
He's
burst your bubble here, but we're going to let the fans pick this one.
yeah, that's a good idea. I'm not that creative. I'll let the fans do their thing. Um, do you? I know we already hashed on this, but another fan question: do you currently have any plans to meet with the Arena Authority in Danville?
Um, there's nothing scheduled or planned. Like I told you, their attorney. I was informed that their attorney's not even back for a month or a week. So I would assume that if there was going to be something, it wouldn't be until after then.
Okay. And let's say that this person comes back. Is the ball kind of in their court at this point? You've made it clear that you're willing to go back if they'll have you with a decent lease. So I
Yeah,
mean, is it just
I
kind of
would. Yeah,
waiting game?
I'd say that it's in. I'd say that it's in their court and until they respond. I mean, there's if I'll talk to my former GM Diane again, and if they want me or any of the people there, if they want me to do something, I'll be more than happy to do it. But I've already made it known that I'm willing to come back. They need to
Mhm.
they need to terminate the lease of the Bobcats before I can go further. We don't have to talk about the SP. She's got a lease with that building, and they
Mhm.
can't. They couldn't lease it to me. I mean, one of the things that my lease would be they couldn't have a another pro team there. So I mean, I wouldn't. They couldn't talk to me until that was done. And when it is,
Right.
they'll, you know, yeah, I want Barry back, and I'll be there to negotiate, or they'll say they want to go in a different direction, of which I'll allow that too. Pretty easy to get, when you get older, you start to get a little bit more mellow. They don't want me. I'll find somebody who does want me.
Exactly. Just a couple closing remarks here. If you are listening to us on Apple Podcasts, make sure you follow us. Or if you're watching us here on the YouTube video series, make sure you hit that subscribe button. It really helps out the channel. Barry, is there anything you would like to say to Benchminer followers or any fans of your teams?
First of all, thanks for all the support. I continue, my heart's out to every one of you. And if there is anything that anybody wants to suggest or say to me, my phone number and my email address are always very easy to get a hold of on any of the websites for the teams. And I certainly will talk as much as I've talked to you. I'll sit and talk to fans if they want. As far as anything, as far as you, I love what you're doing. I want you to continue. I hope that you can find a way to make a couple of bucks at this so it isn't always a constant financial drain. But if I can help, and you and I will talk off of the podcast, and we'll figure out a way where we can help out too.
Absolutely. Well, really appreciate you, Barry, coming on, and we will talk to you soon.
You got it. Thanks, Sean. Bye, everyone.